Happy New Year!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first Harley and Josh show. Well, on IO Radio.
Yeah,
in
first
2019.
live show.
Right, first live show of 2019. We hope you get everything you wanted this year.
Yeah.
This is your music podcast by musicians. But, oh my goodness, Harley, how are you? I haven't seen you in weeks.
I haven't seen you since last decade,
It's
mate.
been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah. I mean, people, who listen on the podcast will probably think we've seen each other on New Year's Day. But no.
No.
That was a lie. We lied to you.
I've been to 4 different countries. Since then.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah. So I've been I've taken 6 flights and 2 boats in the last just over a week.
Well, there's your blurb for your thing, what we're going to do. So first, though, well, let's tell them what we're doing on the show today. So we're going to hear about Harley's amazing adventures across the globe.
All around.
I'm going to talk about something much less important and interesting. And also, we're going to be talking about Sofar Sounds, how much money they make on an average show. It's not a lot. It's less than you'd think. So stick around for the music news for that one. We're also going to be talking about George Gershwin. His music has become public domain, meaning it can be used by anybody copyright free. And we're going to be talking in our discussion thing I thought about this morning about whether songs should go in the public domain. But first, we'll come through the door. We'd like to talk about Harley's stuff, but we need some new jingles.
We do need some new jingles.
We need some new jingles, right?
Well,
so you guys can suggest new jingles for us, but I'm just going to make one up for now.
Right.
For what have you done, Harley? So what you done, Harley?
Hey, I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but Josh.
Good.
And then we'll do that. I'm well. As a side note, I haven't told you this, but when I'm going to be going away soon, I'm going to be taking all my studio stuff with me. So my plan is to do a lot of writing and recording on my downtime. So
That's
I
cool.
may come back with some trinkets from the seas.
And you're taking your recording studio stuff with you?
Yes.
That's cool.
A very basic version of it, but
I did
yeah.
a similar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Anyway, so Harley, where have you been? Where have you been?
I've been to the Daves, mate.
The Daves.
The Daves. I went for a week, 6 days to Kandahar, Maldives with Chart Attack +1.
One win.
Plus 2 actually.
Oh, plus Bunwoten.
Yes,
No.
anyway. So we played our New Year's show. We talked about it a little bit last week about what was involved in preparation and how we've been preparing for it. And of course, you're never too prepared.
No.
And in many senses, we weren't prepared enough in some cases because there were a few surprises when we got there.
Really?
Always are. Oh yeah. They
The heat.
they wanted some changes to the set and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
We'd not long touched down and sort of been over our jet lag.
Right.
And we piled into a meeting with all the team, and we met an amazing team that run the
Events
resort.
team, like hospitality team kind of thing.
Everyone, yeah.
Right.
So who run various different parts, and they all kind of met in the same place, the head of each department of the island, to kind of go, if you're doing this, we're doing this, when this is happening, make sure everything is all good. And they were, really on it.
Right.
Lovely people. They're really although they're, great at their job and very serious about doing their job, they were all about having a bit of fun with it. And,
that helps.
They weren't shying away from making a joke. And it was really, really nice and really welcoming for us to go into that situation and go, this is great. We feel like we're really made to be part of the crew, and we made some really good friends on that show.
Were they all from the Maldives, or were they from
a lot of them from all over? So there were a lot of people from Sri Lanka. There were people from the main island, the Maldives, Malay.
Mm-hmm.
There was another band who had come over from the Philippines, as well
what
as
kind of music were they?
They did sort of standard sort of covers. It was really good stuff. There was a few people who had come over from Bahrain.
Right, yeah.
And as well as some South Africans and some British staff members as well.
All right, cool.
So, like, people come from all over to work there. And
anybody from Suffolk?
No, no.
That'd be
We
crazy
did meet
if
some
you're like,
guests. We did meet some British guests there, and we made some very nice friends.
Good.
But no one quite from our neck of the woods.
So what did they want to change in this set?
For a start, they changed the timings of the set.
Right.
So originally we had plans of doing 3 hours, and then they went, let's make it half hour and 2:45s.
Okay.
And they went, can you play these songs? And they're songs that we had in our wheelhouse but hadn't played for a little while. So we went, okay, let's work out how we're going to do this with Bronwyn playing as well.
Right.
Because we didn't want her just to be sitting there whilst we played a song.
No.
You know, let's utilise the musical wonderfulness that is the Bronson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. The bare knuckle boxer that is Bronson.
The bare knuckle boxer. Hey, if you were to have a boxing match between her and anyone else, I would put my bet that Bron wins.
I expect that she's
You
a
missed
dark
that
horse.
pun. Bron wins.
Oh, for God's sakes. Thank you. Thank you for pointing out on my idiocy.
It's fine. I'd just like to. Yeah. So that was.
What about the gear? Like, was the gear what you expected?
Yeah, we turned up. First of all, we were worried about getting our gear there.
Right.
And getting our equipment, because you hear all these horror stories about guitars being broken
Did
in
they anybody
transit.
snap it over the leg like, look?
Stuff like that. And we didn't have any problems whatsoever.
Great.
We were absolutely fine. I think we kind of looked into this, and it turns out you hear about all the stories when stuff gets broken, but you don't hear about. So you don't get someone post on Facebook going, "I had my guitar put in hold luggage and it got there fine, thank you." No one will tell you that. I mean, including us. We didn't put on Facebook going, "Look, our gear made it there safely."
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But this is me publicly saying,
Yeah.
chill, you've got this. They've got this.
Yeah.
Which is great. I turned up my bass. Was unplayable though.
What?
The neck had moved all the way back.
Oh, because of the temperature.
The
and the
pressure drop, the temperature, the humidity. I'm not sure exactly what it was.
Pressure drop.
And I was like, oh no, what are we going to do? And I was like, okay, well, I've got plans. I was about a day away from literally standing on it.
Right.
Something I've done before on a guitar. If you need to bend the neck, really, it's a last.
So was it a down bow and up bow?
Backwards.
Back bow, right.
So, so it was bowing, so the strings were very low.
Right, yeah.
But day before the show, it just about normalised out, and I went, okay, cool, it'll be back to normal by the next day. And it was. So by the time I stepped on stage, it was just a normal bass that needed retuning, certainly.
Yeah.
And it played just exactly how I left it.
Good.
Now I've flown
Did
back.
Oscar have the same problems with his
He had a
guitar?
bit of a problem, not as much.
Right.
It went back, but not quite as far back.
Right.
So it went in the same direction as mine did. But
Do you think that's just to do with the length of the flights?
perhaps, yeah. Because I mean, it was up, whatever it is, however many thousand feet.
Yeah, 30,000 usually, isn't it?
Well, the longest flight was 12 hours.
Oof.
So that that over a long period of time will not do it a lot of good.
Right.
But it was fine on the day. We turned up. We had our guitar amps there, their PA system. It was a much more basic system than what we're used to.
Right.
But
Any subs?
They had
Good.
4 subs, 4 tops,
Active or passive?
all active.
All right, okay.
Which I've always was for an outside gig made me very nervous because
Yeah.
any rain, and there was a bit of rain during the morning, but it decided to behave itself by the time the evening came.
Nice.
But like I say, it was very basic. Didn't quite get the sound quite how we would have liked it, but you could hear everything and everyone was happy. And
Who did the sound then?
there was a crew, a technical crew on the island who run the sound for the bands and run their other events sort of thing.
Okay, so is it their PA or and they just loan out to the
It's the island's PA.
Yeah.
It's they've ordered it in and it's there.
Condima. Sorry, I've been watching Indiana Jones.
We were singing the Candyman.
Condima, con. Yeah.
So yeah, it all went really well. We did a second gig a couple of days later in the bar. That was all really nice. And it was
it like a smaller setup sort of thing? Or?
Yeah, it was much smaller. So we just run like 2 tops, 2 subs, and it was like in a bar sort of thing.
Cool.
It was a lot quieter because people were still getting over party fever.
Was that the evening of New Year's Day then?
That was the second, so it was 2 days
sorry,
after.
right, yeah.
But it was really nice because we'd been there a week and we'd met various people. We'd met like the odd couple here and there, and families, a few people, and like other DJs who were on the island working, and they all came to see us play on our last night.
Awesome.
And it was really, really nice because we were just chilling with them between sets and having a conversation, and they were wishing us all the best and hoping it would come back, and we were, and it was a really nice vibe, and a really good way to end was what was, at the time quite stressful, but actually a really good working holiday.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you had Dan Oaten there photographizing for you as well.
Yes, photographizing and videoing. And yeah, he was in his element. I mean, every time he didn't have a camera in his hand, he was
just tanned.
He was underwater, swimming with the fishes, but not in like a gangster way. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Are you going to? Are we going to be able to see these pictures?
Of course, yeah. So the videos that come out with it will be posting and sharing with the world for sure. Hopefully, we'll have more bits to share around, some photos. And stuff. There's still loads of videos of people that are posting that were at the event as well.
Oh, cool.
It's going on.
What about crowd size for each one? I mean, like, trying to sort of get a picture of the place.
So it wasn't. It was hard to
Not
tell.
Like thousands and thousands, obviously, but
no,
because it's a small island.
Yeah, like it was the island was fully booked.
Nice.
And that's 750 guests.
Oh, amazing.
Obviously, people do their own thing. Various different things were happening, and so there were. Not everyone was there. However, there were a lot of people there. We had a full dance floor of people doing a full-on flash mob at one point.
Oh, great.
But there were loads of seats of people, like, chilling and stuff. So we probably were playing to 100, maybe 200 people.
That's great.
Like at an absolute top.
It's the same as what we were doing. I mean, is this it was on the beach, wasn't it?
Yeah, on the beach.
I saw the
we
pictures.
were about 6 foot from the water.
Oh,
I'm sure if you'd have turned around at the right point whilst we were playing, you'd have seen a shark. Because they live in the shallows, the little reef sharks.
Somebody just taking people's drinks, right?
No, look, people were loners.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, people who were like, "Where's my money?"
Loners. I think
Loan sharks.
Two things.
Yeah.
Just lonely loners.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. It especially having the 2 gigs over there as well, rather than just having one.
Just made the trip a bit more. I say worth it. In the fact that they were getting their bang for the buck. We were getting we were doing our work whilst we were there and sort of thing, and it was great for those who missed the New Year's show who could come along to the other one, and vice versa, because there were people who turned up on New Year's Day after we'd played, who we got speaking to, and we said, well, we're back tomorrow. So.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I mean, what about the bar that you played in? What was it called? Is it just a hotel bar or something?
It's called Breeze Bar, I believe.
Bar.
Yeah.
And like, how big was that? If you could sort of compare it to an Ipswich venue.
So it was like an outdoor bar, cool. There was a bar in the middle. It was like a 360 bar.
Nice.
But then it's got a ceiling and a stage. Okay, and the rest of it's fully open. You're looking like we were performing out onto a swimming pool.
Oh, what was the temperature like?
28 degrees.
28. You're gigging in 28 degrees.
Oh yeah, it was 28 degrees at night. 28 during the day.
Oh,
like constant temperature all the way through.
That's good.
It was lovely. It was amazing, and
sweaty on stage.
Yeah, certainly did get sweaty. Like, we were playing in trousers on the first night.
Ooh,
because we were very strict on keeping our
smart.
Our look. So we had black jeans, we had the shirts on, the loud shirts, and it looked great and stuff. And that was a bit easier because we had the breeze in coming from the sea. But when we were
breeze bar,
when we were at the breeze bar, there was somehow less breeze. So we're like,
false advertisement.
Yeah,
TripAdvisor's score goes down.
We rocked the shorts, and it was a really good show. And just it was lovely.
I'm really glad that you had that time away, because you need that at the end of the year. I know it's still a lot of work, but it's something different to do, especially at the end of a decade as well. That's really quite a cool sort of full stop to it, isn't it? And and also just to have loads of stuff just to rub into people's faces, really.
Oh yeah, been doing a lot of that. One thing I will say, and I will not rub into people's faces because it caused a lot of pain. Every single one of us got sunburnt.
Sunburn's a tan, right?
It became a tan for some of us.
Yeah.
I have a lovely strip of tan on my lower back where I didn't quite do my whole back in lotion.
Had a crop top.
Yeah. And so I've got a burn line that's become a nice tan, but the rest of me is still pasty white.
Well, yeah, like I said to you over Messenger, you got the red and white thing going on, so you were still quite Christmassy while you were over there.
Of course, yeah.
Harley did stuff, well done, buddy. Well, mate, I mean, you went on an adventure and everything.
We did.
I mean, it's just one of those things where you just don't expect it at that time of year. So we're very glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be back.
Yes, you are. Let's play some music, shall we?
Please do.
This guy, Jack Pout, he's originally from Norwich, lives in Brighton now, and he's coming back to do a gig for Get on the Soapbox with Amy Ragg, who was a guest on this show a little while back. He's here this weekend. Stick around for the gig list to find out. This is Honesty by Jack Pout.
Like no one has before, like no one has before. I made a hell of a mess, I've had a hell of a time, and sure I've had my back to the wall. Not be a hell of a man, and I will if I can, if you would only help me through it.
That was the amazing Jack Pout with his song Honesty. It's available on his album that's on Bandcamp. That one, I couldn't find that one on iTunes. That one is on Bandcamp though. So Harley, you've got to sing for me, please, because we need a new jingle for What I Done Did things.
What did you do? Yes, Josh.
Well, on that note, I am.
It's a note.
There it is. So from a devious holiday from Harley, I was in Suffolk. Stayed in sunny.
Sunny Suffolk.
No, it was not sunny, but it was a really good time. So we were playing at the Forge Kitchen, which used to be Lock Fine. It's on sort of like that little
Josh Locke Fine.
The triangular building that's next to the university. We were originally going to be playing in Harlow at the public library with the Beer & Co guys, which is the same thing that we'd done, the same company we'd done the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But I'd said to him, I was like, because they were like, hey, let's do another one at St. Peter's. I was like, I don't think people really want the same party 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, people have done that before, but I just think it would just, you'd watch ticket sales just drop.
Yeah.
So we were going to do it in Harlow, and then suddenly Harlow decided that they didn't want to have live music at the public library. The problem is that library looks beautiful. It's this sort of Art Deco 30s style thing, so it would look really good for like vintage events, but the council apparently just were not up for it.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it is an absolute shame. So that got cancelled quite late in the year.
Oh, really?
And luckily, the Forge had said to me during the year, like, have you got anything booked for New Year's? Because we'd love to have you. And at that time, we did. But then I sort of went cup in hand to them. I was like, look, we've been cancelled on. Can you still have us? And they did obviously give them a big discount because, like, most people have stuff booked a year in advance.
Yeah.
So there was a really big help. We were originally going to do it in the bar downstairs, and where you played as Chart Attack before. No, wait a second. You played up on the.
No, we played down. We played downstairs. Yeah.
So we were a little bit concerned about that at first because we were like, that's going to be cramped. And knowing what happens on free gigs in Ipswich on a New Year's Eve from when we used to do it at the Swan every year, it just gets absolutely rammed. But when I turned up, I got there about 5:30, 6ish. They said, right, we've changed our mind. We're going to put you up the top. So we were on the balcony bit up the top. So there's two levels to the Forge. And my heart did drop a little bit because I was quite looking forward to being there in the bar and being like, real close,
face to face,
intimate with people when we're having a big celebration and a big party.
Yeah.
And also, that's a lot of stairs. That's a lot of stairs. And I got there before the guys did, so I could set the PA up and we could just hang out. But I'm just sitting there, just trawling this PA up this stairs. And I'd got everything loaded in by the time the guys got there. But yeah, it was. So we'd had everything set up and sound checked. It was still a little bit of a cramped space because we needed to make sure there was room for people to go past. So we'd have everything set up by about 7. We got some free burgers.
Oh, yeah.
Renee Vandel got himself a little vegan Kevin Keegan one.
Nice.
and which was really nice. So we just hung out for a bit. We didn't play until about 9:30. They got all the food out first because it was a restaurant. Then we got sort of cracking on. Did about an hour from about 9:30 till about 10:30. Then we waited until about 11:15 to do our second set.
Mm-hmm.
So we did about a 45-minute break, and then did another hour. Did it over New Year's and did the countdown. Did you guys do the countdown?
We didn't. We finished at 11:30, so
Ooh.
we kind of we were partying,
That's
drinks
great.
in hand by that point.
That's cool. So I like to. I have like an atomic clock and on my phone, not actually on my phone, but like the website that sort of does the specific time, counts down, and sort of just got people talking about what they're thankful for and what they're looking forward to for the next year, and it's just really great way to just get everybody involved. Lots of sing-alongy songs, and by the end of it, I mean there was probably about 180 people in there. The whole restaurant just absolutely, people standing on tables, people proper going for it.
Amazing.
People on the top level, on the bottom level, singing together. It was really, really good. One lady, called Susan, she just got she climbs up the stairs, sort of keeps eye contact with me the whole time. She's looking all sort of like, I'm here for a boogie. And just sort of comes straight up. We were doing Run Around Sue at the time. And she just comes straight up and grabs the mic and starts singing with it. And I was just like, nice. I mean, she wasn't like being aggressive or anything. And she was a good singer as well.
Oh, that's all right.
And we were having a big sing song. So hopefully there's some pictures of that out of the house somewhere.
Great.
But yeah, really good. We're just a difficult load in, load out. We were sort of done and home by about 2 a.m. I think by the end of it.
Okay, that's
But
not bad for a New Year's gig, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, it's. I think it was just all hands on deck. Everybody was like, "Right, I'm done. Let's go home now." Everybody. I mean, the restaurant was obviously closed by that point, and so there was no sort of party going on past that. There were a lot of people that were super up for it. There was some rockabilly gang came along, and
nice,
and they had a good old party with it, which was really fun. They were William and Dawn. They were up there and jiving with everybody, and Sarah and Derm. So it was really nice just to see a lot of different people in one place.
Yeah,
just having a big boogie, I'll hopefully do something like that again next year. We're in talks as to whether we're going to do it at the Forge again. Yeah, we might do. If we did, I think I'd prefer to do it in the bar, just because when we were up on the balcony, there was people walking past us constantly to get to get food or go to the loo, and it's just a bit. It takes you out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes them feel a bit awkward, and you can't really move around much if you're worried about smacking somebody in the face as they're walking past.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. That was Happy New Year to everybody that came along. Thanks very much for coming along for that one. Nice. And my other little bit of music-y things, because it's now January.
It is.
Any musician or venue owner or anybody in the hospitality business knows it's very quiet at this time of the year. People are reeling from spending way too much money over December period. If you're, just a consumer, or if you are also a venue owner and promoter, because they just spend so much money, they use their entire, year's budget in 1 month. Just sort of, because everybody's out and about and up for a good time at that time, and everybody's on holiday. So at the moment, there's not a lot of gigs. I've got one at the end of the month, which is a private thing, and then I've got one coming up with Hot Tramp, which is going to be really fun.
Nice.
Hot Tramp with the Buccaneers, actually.
Amazing.
Things, which will be fun. So I'm just basically gearing up for back to school, which is this week.
Yeah.
So back to teaching, back at All Stars tonight, the Rock School. This last couple days, I have actually been filming a lot for a new YouTube series that I've been planning for about a year.
Great,
maybe a bit more.
Good stuff, man.
This is the Minute Masterclass thing. I'm going to be doing some trailer for that and getting it out so people know what we're talking about. But it's basically I'm doing 10 videos of a minute long each, taking people from never have picking up a guitar before to understanding the instrument and knowing what they should be looking at practicing and how to practice, the right chords, some songs to learn, some melodies that they can be able to play by the end of it, knowing the parts of the guitar, how to clean the guitar.
Also, you're not just music; it's practical and that's great.
Exactly. I mean, it's all being a guitarist is. There's so much to it. That's
so perfect because, like I say, when you want to know something quick or if there's a gap in your knowledge that you need to fill, you don't want a 15-minute video that goes into detail of why and how. You just want to know these are the notes in the chord, because of this. That's good.
Yeah,
Good enough,
sometimes that's
or
all you need,
whatever.
right? Because I mean, there's definitely a space for that, like for long form videos explaining things, because otherwise they wouldn't exist, right?
And there's plenty of those already out there.
Yeah, exactly. And there's none that are just like a minute, 2 minutes long, saying, right, these are the parts of the guitar. Not so much like going into on detail. I mean, I'm not going into detail on these things because that there's just not enough time in a minute to go into super detail. There's enough time to be a bit funny, which is good. But if they need to know more about it, they can either ask me about it in the comments, or if they missed it, they can sort of slow the video down on the playback speed, or they can just rewind and watch it again, or just find another video which actually, because if you're still like, what do I need to know about guitar? You Google that. One of my videos comes up. It gives you a short breakdown of what you need, and then you can Google those specific things. You're like, oh, okay, so what's the nut of a guitar, or why should I just use the tips of my fingers when I'm fretting in my left hand or right hand? So you'll get some more direct answers on that.
You show people how, you don't show people why.
So I mean, I think, I can do that. I mean, also I don't want to give away the whole game because I still need to get private lessons. So if I give it all away in videos, then nobody's going to book me, are they?
That's very, very fair point.
Fair enough. So I've been doing that, and also I want a quick side note. Last Friday, I was on BBC Radio Suffolk. I recorded a 45-minute interview with James Hazel, who I'd never been on with before. I've been on with a lot of the hosts on BBC Suffolk over the years, and this is our first time that we've been live. I've met him at a bunch of different gigs and stuff like that, so we already had a bit of a rapport. And Vic Tux, who was helping me with the Children in Need Tea Party with Leslie Dolphin last year, she was like, okay, so we want to get you along to do like a Desert Island Discs style situation, but not Desert Island Discs, not anything else. So then they said, right, we need you to pick 4 tracks that are important to your musical development. I was like, that's hard.
Trimley to Ipswich train tracks, so you could get to college.
Yeah, very good. Tracks, no, musical songs, Harley.
Oh.
So we did, what did I choose? The first song I chose, which went out today at 12:30 on BBC Radio Suffolk. It's happening every day this week on BBC Radio Suffolk. From 12:30, they're going to play one of my tracks. 4 days of the week anyway. So tomorrow I'm going to be on at 12:30. Today I was on at 12:30, and I was talking about like why I'm into music so much, and what's so important about it, and why it's important to us as humans, and how we use it to communicate, and how it affects our brains. So it's been a really interesting chat to have with him. But I chose The Champs with Tequila.
Yeah,
exactly. We played that in the set, but it's one of the first songs I ever loved when I was a kid. So it's really nostalgic for me, very evocative, because it just reminds me of the Sandlot kids and watching it with my big brother.
Yeah.
But anyway, so listen to BBC Radio Suffolk every day this week from 12:30 to hear me talking a load of stuff about music and talking about what I love. But if you want, I mean, what should we talk? Let's do that one, because then we've got some time with this. Right, so... Sorry, I'm talking to myself and also you. This is a song. We're going to play a song before we get to the music news.
Yep.
This is Lazy Maisie by Egypt.
Yeah.
Amazing Egypt, from formerly the Groundhogs from 1987.
Yeah.
They are playing in Ipswich this week at a new-ish venue. So check it out. This is Lazy Maisie.
Lazy Maisie!
That was Lazy Maisie by Egypt. The Egypt that are playing this week in Ipswich. Where? We'll tell you. But first, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get to some news. The average Sofar Sounds show only earns about £135, this CEO says, whilst also George Gershwin in the public domain, music news.
Music news?
Music news? Is it?
I wish people could see your face as you did that. That was a beautiful, beautiful
we need some
bit.
Facio radio. So Harley, Sofar Sounds, they're sort of like a global company that puts on shows in smaller venues around different sort of smaller towns a lot of the time, but they also do big towns. So they'll do London and they'll do Boston, but they have also done stuff. Meg Burrows has planned some stuff in Ipswich and in Colchester, doing stuff with Sofar Sounds, and there's a lot of great people that have worked on it. But the thing is, they just don't make that much money.
No.
The company says that it splits the net income it receives from its shows about it's 63 to 37. So 63% of the proceeds go to the artists, which is quite good, really, isn't it? I mean, they could be like, we're taking the lion's share. But they're like, no, we'll give it to the artists. They further indicated that they'd hope to change this in the future and give artists 70% of the proceeds, which, up it.
Yeah, that's
rather
all right.
than sitting there going, no, later on we're going to take more. They say that a little more than 60 people attend a typical Sofar show. So smaller shows, aren't they? And they pay a little less for 15 quid to get in. This leads to a gross income of about £1,000 for the shows.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Deducted from that gross income, though, is various expenses. I mean, anybody that's put on gigs knows that they can be really expensive things to put on.
Yeah.
I mean, so here they've listed local staff, show costs, show marketing, but there's so much more. I mean, there's gear hire, there's security, there's there's instrument hire sometimes.
They often film a lot of their performances as well, so you've got to pay for someone to film it and edit it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot that goes into it. At a typical show, these expenses add up to a little more than 500 quid, leaving a net income of a little less than sort of £400-500 kind of thing. So then that gets sort of split up. From this, 230 quid usually goes to the artist, leaving the company with a profit of about £135. So it's not a lot for that amount of show.
It's not a great markup for the work that they do.
Yeah, I mean, think about like box office for movies. People usually say it's a failure if they've spent like 100 million on a film, and they made 200 million, they usually be like, that's a failure.
Yeah.
If they made their money back and then plus 100%, they usually like, you didn't do that well. I mean, if you're spending £1,000 and you're only making a profit of £135.
That's a bit silly.
Yeah, right? So you're making that money back, but it's small steps. Sofar says that it puts on roughly 10,000 shows a year across the world. Which
Go on, do the quick math.
Quick maths. It's about earnings of about £1.3 million.
Is that right?
A year.
Cool.
That they make. But then think about, how much that...
For an international company, that's not a massive amount.
No.
It's easy for us musicians or you musicians listening going, or just anyone in any work actually, to go, oh, that's £1 million. That's a fair amount. But really, if you're doing so much to create such a that doesn't...
No, it doesn't translate enough, right?
No.
So Sofar Sounds was actually founded in 2009 by Rafe Offer, Rocky Starr and Dave Alexander. They were looking to create a more intimate atmosphere for concerts. So it started off in London, then it went to Paris, New York, and Los Angeles, and spread to the rest of the world. By 2017, the company was putting on about 500 shows a month. A few years later, they had raised more than £20 million from a variety of investors, which included Octopus Ventures, Virgin Group, Battery Ventures, Union Square, blah, 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 blah. It's just... I don't know. The lesson here is that it's really difficult to put on a gig and to get people to come and to pay money for it. And
I think one of the issues with a company like this or with a project like Sofar Sounds is, they're intending to have a more intimate gig, to have something that's really kind of close and like you were saying about having that connection with the audience, they don't want you to be half a stairway away from the crowd or on a big stage 20 foot away because you've got like 3 barriers of security.
They want people like sitting on the sofa with them.
Yeah, which kind of goes within the name. But then that goal inherits, you can't sell a lot of tickets because the more people in, the less intimate it gets.
Absolutely.
And then you're then losing what you had.
Yeah, I mean, there've been Sofar Sounds mostly that I know of from around here have been put on Through Those Monkeys in Colchester. So if you guys listening in have heard of it, you should check it out. You should go along to one and see what you think. It's always like smaller acts, no big touring things. So it's not, people with deep pockets.
But a lot of acts who've gone on to do big things as well. There are been some real big artists, none of which I can think of names of right now.
Yeah,
but
it's the thing, like the
really
last minute things.
Yeah, that people kind of do these shows and often go on to do some really big shows, and be household names. Some of them.
It's the same age-old argument, people that will pay 90 quid for a ticket to go see, I don't know, Justin Bieber, won't sit there and pay 10 quid to go and see somebody who could be the next Justin Bieber kind of thing.
Or maybe would not have even paid to go see Justin Bieber 10 years ago before he was famous.
Yeah.
I don't know how long he's been famous.
I don't know, actually. Probably a bit longer,
How old is Bieber, guys?
He's 50. He's on his pension. We got old, man. Anyway, so
is he retired yet?
He probably could.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely could.
Definitely could. But anyway, let's get on to our next section. What do you guys think of that? Let us know. Thing I found and thought about this morning.
Jingle.
So Harley.
Yep.
Rhapsody in Blue, famous George Gershwin track, is entering the public domain along with other works from 1924, and not everyone is happy about it.
Oh, why not?
I wonder why. So with the coming of the new year, Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue is now freely available to adapt. This has upset the Gershwin estate, and not just because it stands to lose a lot of money. They're worried that someone will adapt the composer's music in ways that Gershwin would never approve of. So
put into a Drake song.
Yeah, no, that's what they're saying. They could
give it a couple of weeks, guys. Honestly, this is my hot take of this year.
Yeah,
Gershwin. Drake does Gershwin.
Drake Schwinn. So this got me thinking about Harley.
Gershwake.
Should a musician's work ever enter the public domain? What do you think, Bowie?
I think that's a really interesting point because it always is that's literally how I start these things every time. We were talking before about Happy Birthday, how that entered public domain a few years ago.
2017, yeah.
Anybody?
We can do that, and it's fine.
We're allowed to now. It's okay. It's okay, guys. For a long time, if you were watching TV in the UK and it was someone's birthday, they wouldn't sing Happy Birthday. They would sing For He's a Jolly... As if in that show, they live in a universe that Happy Birthday doesn't exist. Try and imagine a world where Happy Birthday doesn't exist. I mean,
parallel, timelines. I mean, apocalypse immediately.
Yeah, talk about alternative universes.
They'll send Arnold Schwarzenegger back to write a Happy Birthday.
But he wouldn't get the credits because it's public domain now.
Oh yeah, and he lives in the future. How does copyright work if that works?
Wait. Oh, that makes I've got so many questions.
Musician surrounded by
Chuck Berry and Marty McFly have a very complicated contract.
Oh, jeez, Doc. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Marty McFly sort of wrote Johnny B. Good.
Yeah, so
anyway,
that's a thing.
Serious discussion.
So that was a weird thing, and they actually celebrated it on EastEnders the day after it became public domain. It was somebody's birthday and they sung it because they could. But everyone thinks it's a little bit silly that you can't. It was a bit silly that you couldn't sing Happy Birthday on telly without paying royalties because they were ridiculous, because whoever owned the rights would make the most of it because it's quite a famous song.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the phrase public domain refers to works that have effectively become public property and are no longer protected by copyright law. This occurs when the copyright in a work of art expires. Now, I wanted to explain a little bit to people what that means. Now, works in the public domain can be used without seeking anyone's permission and without incurring a copyright fee.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, artworks fall out of copyright and enter the public domain in the UK 70 years after the death of the artist.
Okay.
So it's different because in the US, it's if you're a UK artist, I think that's what counts.
I think that was different until recently, wasn't it?
So it was like a Paul McCartney and Disney thing.
Yeah, because they outlived their own copyright.
Yeah,
and they went, that's not right, because the idea of things going into public domain is if the artist who's written it is no longer alive to take that money, it shouldn't belong to anyone else. It should be allowed to the world, because
I think it was a Beatles thing because John Lennon died in sort of late 70s, didn't he? And then so all the sort of the Lennon songs would come into public domain, quite soon, really, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Would be sort of pretty much now.
By now, yeah.
Yeah.
So they kind of worked out, well, let's make it a little bit fairer for those who, like say, who co-wrote or anything like that.
But I mean, do you think that those, no matter how long it's been since you died or since you gave up I don't know, since you wrote the song, that it should be going to your family or your estate, the money, the copyright money, whatever?
I think to a certain degree, yes, because a lot of what royalties are, people don't see what the copyrights and royalties. They are, almost a will to their family, I'm no longer able to provide for my family because I'm dead. So
selfish.
Yeah, I know, right? So the work that I've done can continue and keep an income for my family to keep a roof over their heads, which is fair enough. However, I think after a certain point, when I say 70 years after the artist has died, then you're talking 2 generations on. Surely one of them would have got a job by now.
Lazy old kids just living off the royalties.
Living off Grandpa, even though...
Thanks, Grandpa Gershwin. It's like, never met you,
yeah,
but I'm living off
that's
it.
So I think that's somewhat okay. But at the same time, I do also agree that he might not want his work being put in a Jason Derulo song.
Yeah, or something like this. That's a good point. I mean, we talked about this a while back with the hologram thing. Knowing whether you want to have your likeness represented or reproduced after you've died. It's not as if you've thought about that on your will. I wonder if they'll make a robot of me later on.
I mean, I'm now thinking about it.
You're like, I would do that. Yeah, just so people sort of like, but not on shows, just in people's houses. Like, just to haunt people.
Again, I'm open to this. If anybody wants to reanimate my corpse in hologram form just to haunt people, I don't think anyone could be scared of me.
I don't know. Depends what you say. It's like, you haven't paid enough taxes. You're like,
that's just terrifying anyway. Yeah,
terrifying. But I mean, it's also like we talked about this as a point a little while back, was that once you release a song, in some ways you can't dictate how people use that. Like if you wrote a song that's a love song, and you want it to kind of make people feel sad or romantic, but then somebody uses it and they listen to it just in a completely different way, then they might be really angry and they use it as like a cathartic thing. You can't say to them, no, that's not what I intended, because there's literally nothing you could do to stop that half the time.
Was it you that mentioned about Tool? They don't put lyrics in any of their CD.
No, I did not say that, but that's interesting.
So, and when asked about it, their reasoning was, it doesn't matter if you mishear the lyrics and come to your own conclusion of what it's about. If that resonates with you, then that's what the song is to you.
Who are you to raise your toenails? It must have been your feet.
But it doesn't matter like what the writer's intention is for it to mean. If it resonates with you in a different way, and that makes you feel good or makes you feel something, at least that's the most important thing.
But I think this is also about creatives and people reusing stuff. I mean, I'm a big fan of hip hop, and the backbone of hip hop in the beginning was samples and using stuff that, infringed on people's copyrights. And it still created something that was new and original.
Yeah.
Even though it did, play on works from before. So, if Gershwin's music's going to get used again, Porgy and Bess is still within copyright law. That was written in sort of 1930, so that will be, America's 75, it went from 75 years to 95 years.
Okay.
So that's why it's just coming out now.
Right.
So we've still got a sort of 5-10 years until Porgy and Bess comes out. to be in which is his most famous stuff. But I like the thought of being able to sample stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, people could still sample Gershwin stuff before, they just needed the permission.
Yeah,
just now
true.
they'd definitely have to, they wouldn't have to if it came into public domain. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know. I think, being able to work on pieces in the past, I mean, like Star Wars, I mean, there's so many great Star Wars sort of stories coming out now.
Yeah.
I like The Mandalorian, I absolutely love it. But that wasn't written by George Lucas. That wasn't his original viz.
No.
So it's an original thought that came from somebody else, but you are adapting it and using the same kind of ideas to create a new story or create something that's new. Which I don't think there's something bad in that. It's just it's probably not as beneficial to the original auteur.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
But anyway, what do you guys think? I think that's there's loads of music which once when we've grown old, that'll be in the public domain. From sort of 80s, 90s, even earlier, some stuff, so that you could completely remix without having to pay anybody.
Hey, this is a podcast, so it can be available at any time. So, I mean, by the time you're listening to this, we could have been dead sometime, and our music may be public domain for you to do what you like with.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
how long before our jingles become public domain?
Yeah, oh my goodness. I think they should be already, to be honest. You guys use them whatever you want.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so thank you for that, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know what you think in the comments below, etc. Subscribe, blah, blah, blahs. But let's get on to the gig list. So,
nice.
Harley.
Yeah.
Tell me, what we got going on this week?
So we got this Thursday, we got Webby's Jam, which is at the Salutations,
it's
as
the
it
first
is.
one of the year, I think.
It's first of the decade.
First of the decade.
Yeah, I'm keeping this one going.
Absolutely, keep it going, man.
Yeah.
So it's the Thursday, the 9th of January at the Salutation.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, so if your New Year's resolution is to join a band or just to get out there and play music, then there's a great way to start. And if you can't make it to that because you're too far away or you're just somewhere else, then you can go to the Thursday Jam at Coda in Colchester, just near the Three Wise Monkeys. That is also Thursday, 9th of January, and it's about 8:30, that one.
Nice one. Nice.
Yeah. What's next, mate?
Cool. We've also got...
How are you going to say it? How are you going to say it, Harley?
I'm going to... Margot Kilka?
I reckon that's it.
Silka or Kilka?
I
and
reckon
friend,
Kilka.
get on the soapbox.
But I mean, it's a C. I don't know. And there's an E in there. So
Cilker. I mean, if you Google that, it'll come up with the event, hopefully.
Yeah, we get. Yeah, exactly. So that's on part of the Get on the Soapbox with Amy Ragg. That is the amazing Jack Pout, who we played earlier, is playing for that one. And it's his first gig for quite a while, I think, especially around here. So
great.
That's at the Duke.
Yep.
The Duke of... Well, it's just called the Duke now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not called the Duke of York. I mean, it's on a hill. So you can just assume that it's Duke of York on Woodbridge Road in Ipswich. That's Friday, the 10th of January.
Amazing.
Yes. So, Harley, the next one. Do you want to read the next one or shall I read the next one?
So we've got Egypt at the 29 bar. Egypt, who we played earlier.
Yes, it is.
They 29 bar, which is formerly known as the County of Suffolk.
That's the one, right near the region.
What's the road that's on? Right, yeah, near the region.
I can't remember.
Same road as the region.
I'm bad with road names.
Yeah,
really bad with them.
But it will be.
Just call them Road 1, Road 2, Road 3. There we go.
Well, they started doing that.
Oh yeah,
that's literally
Road A14.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
That'd be great.
If anybody was fans of the Groundhogs in the 80s.
This was one of my dad's favourite bands, watching them play, so that'd be great.
That should tell you what they're going to sound like.
Yeah.
Yeah, rock and roll.
Or the fact that we just played some of their music.
Oh, yeah.
is a good sign.
Yeah, but people on the podcast haven't heard it.
Nah, fair.
So, I don't know what time they're playing. Oh, yeah, Friday at 9 o'clock at the Railway on Vauxhall Road, that one. No, it's not. No, that is the next one.
That's the next one.
Oh, I messed up, Harley. Oh, fire me. Wait, we didn't get paid. As Waxy's Dargle.
Oh, yes.
Playing. Good old John.
Classic.
Fanny Adams is playing at the Railway on Friday at 9 o'clock. That is going to be a great one.
Yeah.
I mean, so fans of JS and the Buccaneers will absolutely adore Waxy Dargle playing sort of, pogsy, Irishy, drinking songs and just having a good old knees up. I like Waxy Dargle.
Good fun band.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Great. And to finish this off, we have Little Jim Lil Jim. Playing at 9 o'clock at the Halberd Inn in Ipswich, what was formerly known as PJ McGinty's.
Yeah.
It's been the Halberd Inn for quite some time now, so
PJ
you
Duncan,
may have seen it elsewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, go along and see Lil Jim.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Lil Jim is a solo musician who plays like multiple instruments at the same time. So he'll be playing like accordion whilst also playing drums.
Okay.
And he's a
One-man
very talented
band.
guy. I think he's from like Dorset or like Derby or something.
You are, yeah.
It begins with a D.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from the Duke of York. No. So yeah, that is at 9 o'clock. There's loads of. I mean, there's not a lot going on.
But it's a
There's loads of
quiet time
good
of year.
stuff, but not a lot going on.
Quality, not quantity.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So
what this month's all about.
So Harley, are we back next week? We are back next week.
We're back next week. Yeah, I haven't told you about what we're going to be doing next week, but I had the thought of what we want to be doing because Charlie, my partner, was making a bucket list for the year.
Oh.
And I want us to write our own musical bucket list of what we want to do.
Oh, that's a great idea. Next
right?
week, yeah?
Next week, we'll get that on that.
Tune in, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen. That's
And
good.
come in with your ideas. Tell us what you plan to achieve by the end of this year. And we'll make it special.
We'll make it happen.
Yes.
It's like, I want to ride an elephant upside down. Well,
Josh will
you've come
fix
to
it.
the right place, ladies and gentlemen. Right, okay. Thank you very much for listening in, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
We're going to play a song that Harley and I both played on.
Yeah.
You can listen to the amazing bass work of Harley Cotton on this song. This is my song, Demons, by me, Josh Locke.
Yeah.
So, bye.
Yeah, see you later.
Yeah.